Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, amen introibo ad altare Dei. Iudicame Deus discerne causam meam dicendam sancta, abomine iniquo doloso et remedio.
Creatus Deus fortitudo mea revolusi et quae causas intuitiva fugit meum
Elite lucem tuam et veritatem tuam, ipsam et eduxerunt et aduxerunt in monte sanctum tuum et in tabernacula tuam.
et privatare adem ducat iubitum meum.
Confite voricitara Deus, Deus meus, quare tristis est anima mea et quare conturbas meum.
Spere et Deo conem ACTIVAR eositori votus mei et Deus meus.
Gloria Patri et Filio Spiritui Sancto.
Sicut erat et et seculum seculum. Amen.
Introibo ad altare Dei.
Adem ducat iubitum meum.
Aiutorium nostrum in nomine Domini.
Qui dicem terra.
Confiteor Deo Onnipotenti, Beati Mariae Semper Virgini, Beato Michaeli Arcangelo, Beato Ioanne Baptiste, Sanctis Apostolis Petro et Paolo, omnibus sanctis et vobis fratres, via peccabilis cogitatione verbo et opere, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Ideo precor Beata Mariam Semper Virginem, Beatum Michaelem Arcangelum, Beatum Ioannem Baptistam, Sanctos Apostolos Petrum et Paulum, omnes sanctos et vos fratres, ora de pro mea Dominum Deum nostrum.
Miserere tui et against days of the needs, peccabis tui, et eternam.
Amen.
Confere Deo omnipotente, Beate Maria, Soli Virgine, Beato, Michael Arcangelo, Beato Ioannem Baptiste, Sanctus Apostles et Petrum, Antus Sanctus et COMPARTIR, Quia Deus putitatione revocare. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Ea precor Beato Mariam Soli Virgine, Beato Michaelem Arcangelum, Beato Ioannem Baptistum, Sanctus Apostles et Petrum, Antus Sanctus et COMPARTIR, Amen. Deum nostrum.
Misereatur vestri omnipotens Deus, et dimissis peccatis vestris perducat vos ad vitam aeterna.
Amen.
Indulgentiam, absolutionem et remissionem peccatorum nostrorum, tribuat nobis omnipotens et misericors Dominus.
Amen.
Deus tu conversus vivificabis nos.
Et plebs tua aetabator in
Ostende nobis Domine misericordiam tuam.
Exare cadena nobis,
Domine exaudi orationem meam.
et in te venia,
Dominus vobiscum.
et in spiritu tuo.
Oremus. Dicit Dominus, ego cogito cogitationes pacis et non afflictionis, invocabitis me et ego exaudiam vos, et reducam captivitatem vestram decuntis ocis. Benedixisti Domine terra tuam, avertisti captivitatem Jacob, gloria Patri et Filio Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio, nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Dicit Dominus, ego cogito cogitationes pacis et non afflictionis, invocabitis me et ego exaudiam vos, et reducam captivitatem vestram decuntis ocis. Domini, Kyrie eleison,
Kyrie eleison,
Kyrie eleison,
Christe eleison,
Christe eleison,
Christe eleison,
Kyrie eleison,
Kyrie eleison.
Kyrie eleison. Gloria in excelsis Deo et in terra pax omnibus bone voluntatis. Laudamus te, benedicimus te, adoramus te, glorificamus te. Gratias arcimus tibi propter manium tuam, Domine Deus, Rex celestis, Deus Pater omnipotens, Domine Filii unigeniti Iesu Christe, Domine Deus, Agnus Dei, Filius Patris, qui tollis peccata mundi miserere nobis, qui tollis peccata mundi, suscipe deprecationem nostram, qui sedes ad dexteram Patris miserere nobis, orient tu solus sanctus, tu solus Dominus, tu solus Altissimus Iesu Christe, cum Sancto Spiritu, in gloria Dei Patris. Amen. Dominus et vobiscum.
And in spirit is with me.
Oremus, familia Deus, qui nos in tantis periculis constitutos pro humanacis fragilitate non posse subsistere, da nobis salutem mentis et corporis, ut ea quo pro peccatis nostris patibur te adjuvante vincamus. Per Dominum nostrum Iesum Christum, Filium Tuum, qui tecum vivit et regnat, in unitate Spiritus Sancti Deus, per omnia saecula saeculorum.
Amen.
Oremus Ecclesiam Tuam Domine Sancti, caroli confessoris Tui, atque pontificis continua protezione custodi. Ut sicut illum pastoralis sollicitudo gloriosum redigit, ita nos eius intercessio in Tuo semper faciat amore ferventes. Omnipotens sempiterne Deus, qui nos omnium sanctorum Tuorum merita sub una tribuisti celebritate venari, quesumus desiderata nobis Tue propitiationis abundantia, multiplicatis intercessoribus largiaris, per Dominum nostrum, Iesu Christum, Filium Tuum, qui tecum vivit, presta, oremus, presta quesumus omnipotens Deus, ut qui sanctorum martyrum Tuorum vitalis et agricolis solemnia colimus, et omne ad Te intercessionibus adiuvemur. Per Dominum nostrum Iesu Christum, Filium Tuum, qui tecum vivit et regnat, in unitate Spiritus Sancti Deus, per omnia saecula saeculorum.
Amen.
Lectio Epistolae Beati Pauli Apostoli ad Romanos, fratres, nemini quidquam de Beatis nisi ut illicente legatis, qui elim dilicit proximum legem plebis, nam non adulterabis, non occides, non furaberis, non falsum testimonium dices, non concupisces, et si quod est aliud mandatum in hoc verbo instauratus, dilices proximum tuum sicut ipsum, dilectio proximi malum non operatum, plenitudo ero, plenitudo ergo lecis est dilectio.
Deo gratias.
Liberasti nos Domine ex afficentibus nos, et Deus qui nos rerum confudisti. In Deo laudabimus tota die, et in nomine Tuo confitebimur in saecula. Alleluia, alleluia. De profundis clamavi te Domine, Domine exaudi rationem meam. Alleluia. Dominus vobiscum, ecclesia Sancti Evangelii secundum Matteum.
Glory to be done.
In illo tempore ascendente Iesu in naviculam secuti sunt eum discipuli eius, et ecce motus manius factus est in mari, ita ut navicula operiretur fructibus ipse vero dormievat. Laceserunt ad eum discipuli eius et suscitaverunt eum dicentes Domine salva nos perimus. Et dicit eis Iesus, quid timidi estis modice fidei, cum resurgens imperavi ventis et mari, et facta est tranquillitas magna. Porro homines miratis suplicentes, qualis est hic, quia venti et mare obedium Dei.
Laus to be Christ.
Today is the 24th Sunday after Pentecost, the Mass is taken from the 4th Sunday after the Epiphany. For the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. We are in the month of November, which is consecrated to the devotion to the poor souls in purgatory. So I would like to speak today about purgatory. First of all, we have to know that purgatory is a place of punishment, a place of misery in which the souls are tormented by the pain of being separated from God and by the pain of fire of God's justice. It is similar to hell, with an exception though, that the poor souls in purgatory, they are in a state of sanctifying grace, and they have the certitude of eternal salvation. Having done that, they suffer the same pains of the damned in hell. When a person dies in a state of sanctifying grace, but have still some pains to atone for venial sins or for mortal sins that were already forgiven but not yet atoned for in this life, this person goes to purgatory, because we read in the sacred scripture that nothing defiled can enter heaven. Heaven being the place of beatific vision of God, a place of perfect and purity and holiness. Now, what are those things that will retain a soul in purgatory? Mostly there are three things. First is unremitted venial sins. Then we have a second cause, is an excessive attachment to the things of this world. The third cause to be retained in purgatory is temporal punishment due to sin. Now the first cause is unremitted venial sin. People, even good people, even saints, commit venial sins every day throughout the whole day. Our Lord says the just man sins 7 times a day. These venial sins are easily remitted, but they must be remitted. They can be remitted by confessing them, by receiving fervent Holy Communion, by fervent act of charity, charity towards God, charity towards our neighbor. But in all of these cases, the venial sin will remain in the soul unremitted if the person has no contrition for those sins. If the person has no sorry for those sins. And many times, unfortunately, even venial sins that we confessed in the confessional remain, even after absolution, remain in the souls unremitted, because the person is not truly sorry for them. Now, contrition, you know, is a hatred for the sin committed, and a sign of contrition is when we fight against those sins by avoiding occasion, by immediately repenting those sins if we should fall again. That is contrition. But many people confess these sins without true contrition, without taking the resolution to correct themselves against those sins, whether it be gluttony, vanity,
or lying, or bad language, or other habit that we typically have. We confess them without enough contrition, without enough resolution to correct ourselves. So, make sure to excite yourself before asking forgiveness from God. Excite yourself to acquire that true contrition for your sin. That's very important. Second things that will retain us in purgatory are excessive attachment to the things of this world. It is not something wrong to love things of this world. You love your house, your car, you love your children, your food and clothes, you love your pets. It is not wrong to love them, to love the things, provided that we love them with moderation, provided that we love them to the extent and in the way wished by God. If we love the things in excess, there is a disorder, and therefore it is not compatible with heaven, because our heart is set in the things too much, and therefore there is a disorder that deters us from God and from heaven, and therefore we have to atone for this disorder, for this excessive attachment to the things of this world. In this life, they can be atoned for example, this disorder affection can be resolved by prayer, for example, by meditation, by spiritual reading, by some mortification, by separating yourself from the things you love too much. A spiritual author says, for example, if you have this avarice, this excessive love for worldly things, they advise to give them away, to detach from the things by depriving yourself from the things. Give it away. It is a good remedy against avarice. And that is very typically, according to the spiritual authors, the fault of older people, where at a younger age they are more inclined to faults of impurity. On the old age prevails avarice, that is this disordered love for the things of this world. We love things too much. Now the third thing that we retain in purgatory is punishment due to sin. Whenever we commit a sin, we have committed a guilt and also a damage to the justice of God. Every sin implies these two things. Now when we repent, when we ask forgiveness, when we are absolved from this sin, the guilt is taken away. That is to say, eternal punishment. We don't go to hell. However, there is attached to every sin a pain to be atoned for, in order to repair perfectly the divine justice. That pain, which is called temporal punishment, is paid either in this life or in the next life in purgatory. Again, nothing the fire can enter heaven. The damage caused by every sin has to be paid off either in this life or in the next. We carry with it a debt to be paid. I imagine if you get a credit card when you were at the age of 7, with the use of reason, you have been using that credit card every single day and never paid anything down. Never paid your debts. Imagine what that credit card would be like when you die, at the age of 80, 85, or 90. Just imagine when you open that bill, what the credit card would say. You never paid anything. And this is the same in a spiritual life. Everything that you do every day builds up. Every fault. Even at the end of the month, sometimes you see all the pressure of the credit card upon you, things that you bought and never used, and so the same is true of all of the damage that we do to God by sins. All that debt over the years. And so it is important that we pay our debt sooner rather than later, just as we do with our credit card. And we do this by fervent act of prayer. We pay our debts by mortification or charity, offering the pains in our life. We often say, offer it up when something wrong is happening to us, and that is exactly what we are doing. If you have a physical pain, if you have a moral pain, if you have financial problems, or the weather, or whatever cross is coming across your life, offer it up. Atone in this life for the sins that you have committed. Secondly, there is also, which is called the gaining or obtaining of indulgences, which remit either partially or totally the debt by the power of the church. And thirdly, we should take every effort to assure that we have a priest before dying, because when we receive the sacrament of extreme unction, with due disposition, of course, we also received a plenary indulgence, that is to say, the full, the complete remission of both the faults and the pains that are supposed to be atoned for in purgatory. If we do receive this sacrament with due disposition, that is to say, with sincere contrition for our soul, for our sins. Without contrition, there is no forgiveness, there is no remission of sin. Now, what are some practical things to do in order to avoid the pain of purgatory? First, to go often to confession every week, if you can, every month. To receive Holy Communion often, every week, or even within the week. Confess those venial sins and be truly sorry for them. Detest them. Take every single effort to correct, to improve your spiritual life. Secondly, examination of conscience every day, together with a true act of contrition and firm resolution in the things you fall every day, impatience, uncharitable thought, pride, vanity, sensuality. Third remedy or advice is to make the resolution in your morning prayer to avoid those typical sins and their location, to avoid places, persons, circumstances that leads you to sin. 4, gain indulgences. Use benefit of these indulgence prayers that are given by the church as often as you can. There is a list of indulgences in the bulletin today that you can gain for the souls in purgatory. But every day you can say indulgence prayers, and this is partially or totally remission for the pain due for your sin. Make a list of your venial sins and review them often. Renew this hatred for them. Strive against these sins. Do spiritual reading. Lead a really spiritual life, meditating every day, maybe 10 minutes a day. Say your Holy Rosary. Do occasionally fervent act of charity, including helping the poor, helping the church. Arrange that masses be said for the eternal repose of your soul once you pass. And most importantly, make sure to instruct your children, your grandchildren, your loved ones, to instruct them very carefully that you want absolutely to have traditional Catholic priest when you are dying. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Credo in un Deo Padre Onnipotente, et omnia saecula saeculorum.
Amen.
Dominus vobiscum,
Et cum spiritu tuo,
sursum corda.
habemus Domino,
Gratias agamus Domino Deo nostro.
qui iustimus,
Vere dignum et justum est, et cum in salutate. Nos divi semper tu dico gratia sage, Domini Sancte Pater Omnipotens et Deus, qui cum unigenito Filio tuo et Spiritus Sancto unus est Deus, unus est Dominus, non in unius singularitate persones, et in unius unitate substantiae. Poderese tua gloria revelante te credimus, od de Filio tuo, od de Spiritus Sancto, sine differentia discretionis sentimus. Ut in confessione per sempiter neco deitatis, et in personis proprietas et in essentia unitas, et in majestate adoretur et qualitas. Quam laudant angeli ad tue arcangeli, cherubim quoque et serafim, qui non cessant clamare quotidie una voce dicentes. per omnia saecula saeculorum. Amen. Oremus preceptis salutaris moniti e divina institutione formati, habemus dicere, Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, iat voluntas tua sicut in cielo et in terra. Pane nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et nos inducas in tentationem,
sed libera nos a mal.
Amen dico vobis quid orantes petitis credite qui accedietis et fiat vobis. Dominus vobiscum
Et cum spiritu tuo.
oremus. Muriratur nos Deus ad delegationibus terrenis expediant, et celestibus semper instaurent alimentis, per Dominum nostrum Iesum Christum, Filium tuum, qui tecum vivit et regnat in unitate Spiritus Sancti Deus, per omnia saecula saeculorum.
Amen.
Oremus presta quesumus omnipotens Deus, ut de perceptis numeribus gratias exhibentes, intercedente beato Carolo, confessore tuo, atque pontifice beneficia potiora sumamus. Da quesumus Domine fidelibus populis omnium santorum semper generatione letali, et eorum perpetua supplicatione munili. Eg nos communio Domine et purge crimine, et intercedentibus sanctis martiribus tuis vitale et agricola celestis reveli facet esse consortes. Dominum nostrum Iesum Christum, Filium tuum, qui tecum vivit et regnat in unitate Spiritus Sancti Deus, per omnia saecula saeculorum. Amen. Dominus et vobiscum,
Et cum spiritu tuo.
ite missa est.
Dea gratias.
Benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen. Dominus vobiscum,
Et cum spiritu tuo.
Iniциus Sancti Evangelii secundum Ioannem.
Glory to thee, Domine.
Principio et verbum erat apud Deo, et Deus erat verbum, erat in principio apud Deo. Omnia per ipsum facta sunt, et in ipso factum est, et quod factum est. In ipso vita et vita lux hominum, et lux in terris luce tenebrae, et non comprehenderum. Fui Dominus ad Deum da Ioannis, in verit testimonium per ibeterum, in omnes credere in periculum. Non era de lux testimonium per ibe de lumine, et lux spera quae illuminat omnes homini veniente in mundum. In mundo et mundus perissum factus est mundus quia non connovit, in propria verite sui non precepetum, quod autem precepetum Deum. Et Deis potestate in Filios Dei Filis, credeat in nomine eius cur sanguinibus, neque state carnis, neque state divinis est Deo natis sunt, et verbum car factum est, et habitavit in nobis. Vidibus Reveillus Soli Quas, Infinite Pace, Bellum Gratiae et Veritatis.
Deo gratias.
May it very full of grace, the Lord be blessed our down to and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death.
Very full of grace, the Lord be blessed our down to and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death.
Very full of grace, the Lord be blessed our down to and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death.
Hail, Holy Queen,
Mother of mercy, our life, our Jesus and our hope.
to thee we cry, provided children of Eve. To thee we send up our sighs, mourning in this valley of tears. Turn the most gracious advocate, thine eyes of mercy towards us. And after this our sorrow, show to us the blessed fruit of thy womb, Jesus. O clement, O loving, O sweet Virgin Mary, pray for us, O Holy Mother of God.
That we may be made worthy of our promises.
Let us pray, O God, our refuge and our strength, and look down with favor upon thy people who cry to thee. And through the intercession of the glorious Immaculate Virgin Mary, Mother of God, her spouse, Blessed Joseph, the holy apostles Peter and Paul, and of the saints, mercifully and graciously hear the prayers which we put forth to thee, for the conversion of sinners, and for the liberty and exaltation of Holy Mother the Church, through the same Christ our Lord. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God the living and conquer him. And thou, Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, hast made the heaven Satan and all his spirits, the proud of the world's Saviors and the souls. Most Sacred Heart of Jesus, most Sacred Heart of Jesus, most Sacred Heart of Jesus.